He's dreaming.
I know how you give a hug to them. You know where the financial mama is.
Yeah. You are free. My job.
Bingo, bingo, bingo. We'll fix it. Or we can have a late lunch, or if you already have lunch, I can or vice versa. You can do whatever. If we did have lunch, we'll actually take a couple of numbers. You know what? Or if you make a mistake, here's the other uniform. The black and white lines. You know that's not a good one. Oh.
And I look at different ones, and I'll start talking to them. You give me
I said if you go wrong, this is the next one. Oh, okay. Go. Oh, it's but you wear it very nice.
an orange jumpsuit myself. I know, right? Very
But anyway, you know what? That was part of the past. There is no more.
pretty blue.
The reason why, you know why they have black and white? Creating stuff, and there wasn't a lot of. In those days, people owned one set of clothes. Now. I hate that orange. It's really powerful. But now they have an ankle. I was in jury. I asked and so they told me my nephew was working for the VA. So I said, does anybody have a problem? Speak up now. And can you be fair? Oh, what a nice match. And then I was looking at the judges. He'll put you in jail. He's going to send him out tomorrow. This judge ordered you. So if you ever go in, don't play. But you know the judge will say for whatever, bad behavior.
Yeah,
They can
I
give you a
saw
week.
her. Okay, I saw her. You met with the coaches, but we ain't never. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Are you enjoying it?
And anyway, so that was my one only experience. He had a oh, thanks. You might bet now. No, it's a good one.
No, and I'm going to leave real quickly after work because I have a dinner.
Everything good to go on the Northwest video?
Yes.
Okay.
Then you had a document or a packet. Now, are you going to give them hard copies? Or
Yes.
do you want to show the electronic?
Dr. LeBlanc has the hard copies. She has 20 hard copies that she'll distribute.
So it's just in our files.
Okay, yeah, and I think you have a draft one. Yeah, the one you have is the draft. Yeah, we don't show that today.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Ready? Good. Okay.
So red is on, right? Good evening. I welcome you to the November 12th, 2015 Board of Trustees meeting. You'll be pleased to know that the IT folks have labeled our on-off button for us. Finally brought it down to our level. Are there any public comments, Mr. Gates? All right. So, Ms. Robinson?
Good evening, Chancellor Robinson, Mrs. Appleman, board members. It is with great pleasure that I share with you this evening some of the partnerships that the Northwest Campus currently has with business and industry, the independent school districts, and other stakeholders in the community. I want to begin by reminding you that through a culture of communication and cooperation, community colleges play an important role in the economic development of a community. The best definition I've heard of economic development was given by George Audrey, who was the founding CEO of MDC, which was a think tank in North Carolina. He defined economic development as the, and I quote, the process by which a community creates, retains, and reinvents wealth to improve its productive capacity and raise the standard of living for all citizens. The ultimate purpose of development is not just to create jobs, but to achieve a higher standard of living for all the people. This definition stresses the importance of equity. People need jobs, and they need bootstraps. Community colleges give people bootstraps. Tarrant County College is important to the training of individuals and to the enrichment of the community. This evening, you will get a snapshot picture of our partnerships and how they benefit our students and ultimately the community. We have a short video because we're sensitive to the time, and we also have prepared a very unsophisticated handout, similar to what our students get, to give a little more detail. But the most important part of our program, you will get to meet some of our students. Following the video, you will meet Blake Kressinger, Brandon Russ, and Colin Petty. So we'll start with the video. the music is because of the resort campus.
This week we have been going over the skills that we have learned throughout our first 2 semesters. We've been putting them to use. We've been putting out fires.
So the partnership between the City of Arlington, Tarrant County College, and our school district to ensure that our students are successful. The importance of the preparation in this program for our students to see that and demonstrate a seamless transition from public schools to the workforce.
A program like this means that the City of Arlington will have the opportunity to recruit the finest firefighters for the future.
I mean, imagine that on the Monday after the Saturday in which a youngster graduates, that youngster can actually get a job serving his community as a firefighter here in Arlington. It's absolutely magic.
So our first speaker will be Blake.
Hello, I'm Blake Kretzinger. I'm going to talk to you all a little bit about the high school academy and how it impacted my life. I graduated from Martin High School in 2013. I'm now an Arlington fireman. In high school, as a freshman, I had no idea what I wanted to do. My grades were kind of not that great. I didn't really have a lot of motivation. My sophomore year, I started seeing the posters for the fire academy around the school. I'd never considered being a fireman, never really knew about the fire service at all. But figured, I might as well give it a shot. Sounds like fun. sounds like my kind of job, on my feet, working something new every day. So I got into the academy. I liked it. It wasn't all I thought it was going to be. It was a lot of book work, a lot of school work, a lot of studying. But it motivated me. It got my grades up, and I knew that I enjoyed it. And then at the end of our fire academy, at the end of the class, we had our skills week where we actually did live fire, extrication, vehicle extrication, actual hands-on training. And that's when I realized, okay, I'm going to be a fireman. This is what I'm going to do. So ever since that day, everything I've done, everything I did in high school, and after that was so I could work for the Arlington Fire Department. So my grades shot up. My parents were a lot happier with me. Just put it that way. So after high school, I finished fire academy. I did pretty well in fire academy. I went through EMT school. I did pretty well. And it was very challenging. It was a new challenge for me. I wasn't used to that. It was constantly, every time I learned something, it's time to learn something new. So it was constantly evolving and constantly challenging me. But I finished EMT school, and I knew that I wanted to work for Arlington because that's where I grew up. I would have taken a job anywhere because I just wanted to work, but I wanted Arlington. So before I even graduated high school, I began the testing process with Arlington, which is a written test. They take the top 250 applicants, and then I think there's 1,000 of them who took the test. So I made the top 250, did my physical agility run, did all my interviews, found out the summer after I graduated high school that I got hired by the fire department. So after that, I went through a year of training. We did some medical training, and I went through another fire academy, we call it rookie school or basic training, which is a little more intense, but it was good. And almost a little less than a year after I graduated high school, I was riding on a fire truck in my hometown. So now every third day I get to go to work, I get to help people, I get to impact people's lives. I get paid pretty well for a 20-year-old. And not only that, I was talking to someone back here, I get to go to school and tuition's paid for as a fireman. So not only did I set myself up for success, I also took a little bit of a load off my parents. They didn't have to worry about paying for college. Now I get to work and I get to go to college at my own pace. So the fire academy changed my life. I don't know where I'd be right now if it wasn't for that fire academy, but I wouldn't be where I am today by any means. So any questions?
Next is Brandon.
Hello, my name is Brandon Russ, and first off, I would like to say thank you to TCC, AISD, and Arlington Fire Department. Through their partnership, I was able to go through the same training as Blake did. Through high school, I grew up around the fire service, having a dad and an uncle in the fire service, so I knew what I wanted to be. I just thought I had to wait until after college. And sophomore year as well, I found out that AISD had a fire academy, and through the rigorous process, I was able to go through the training and get hired. My grades went up as well. I didn't think EMT school would be as difficult as it was. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I didn't think EMT school would be as difficult as it was, but with TCC's great educators, they helped me through the process, and now I'm an Arlington firefighter. Just want to say thank you again.
Next is Colin, who is currently a student.
Hello. Sorry to break the pattern, guys. I'm not a firefighter, so we're switching up a little bit. My name is Colin Petty, and I am a student at Tarrant County College Northwest. It has been an amazing experience for me. It's changed my life, really. I started at Byron Nelson High School, and my first day on the campus, I remember walking, and I went, I think, maybe 10 feet, and I looked on the wall, because we always have flyers on our walls, and it was a service learning opportunity. I was like, well, that's interesting. I might have to check that out when I get here. And through the course of my first semester, I learned that, community service is not just a part of TCC Northwest, it's really the heart of it. When I talk to my professors and my different club sponsors, they're always pushing us, to go give back to the community. So I knew I had to do my mission and see what I could do for the community. And that's where Community Link came in. Community Link is a food bank based out of Saginaw, so they go through 20,000 pounds of food every week. That's a lot of mouths. So they need a lot of help. And they're looking for not just handouts, they're looking for hand-ups, which is where Stepping Stone comes in. Stepping Stone is the organization I created under the guidance of many of my TCC professors. They gave me the guidance of, hey, you need to make sure that you're training your guys effectively, which I didn't think of. I just said one day, well, I'm going to do this organization. And they helped to guide me and to nurture me through the process of opening up that organization. So we help people to build their resumes. We do mock interviews, and we also help to put business clothing on people's backs. I actually brought some of my team members today, so they're in the back. I want to bring attention to them. So these are just some of our team members, but everyone that works with us is either a current or former TCC student. So we also work on the other end of helping people get experience so that way they can jump into industry. I'd like to invite all of y'all to come out to our location at Community Link if you ever have a chance. We'd love to have you out there. And if you're looking for more information, stop by steppingstonejobs.org. Thank you.
So you see, we change people's lives for the better every single day. And we want to thank you for the support that we get from the board in allowing us to push everyone forward into excellence. We have wonderful instructors, wonderful leaders, and we're creating leaders every day. So thank you very much.
Very impressive. Thank you all for coming. You want a picture of them? Okay, sure. Where did you say your location is? Oh, okay.
This way. 1, 2, 3. Good. Thank you.
Ms. LeBlanc, I thought maybe you would like to, there's one of your pictures that's got, it's blue sky and the junior achievement kids are waving at something. Would you like to tell us what that is? I mean.
So that's a drone. And our computer science and aviation faculty members participated in a grant that allowed us to get these drones, and they created the curriculum for the drones. But we're discovering that the firefighter faculty and the police faculty and the wastewater faculty are all interested in using the drones. And now that the children have discovered it, well, you get the picture. So we had 318 middle school children on Friday, and their photo was taken by the drones. And that was what was so exciting. We put the bright yellow shirts on them so we would know where they were at all times. But we also have drones throughout the campus, so be careful.
Just another
Fair
question. Do you have any partnerships with any service organizations in your service learning programs, like maybe Rotary?
Like Rotary? Yes, sir, we do. And actually, we try to put as many of those partnerships in here as possible, but we might have missed a really big one like Rotary. But we do a great deal of work with the service organizations in the community. It's all about giving back to the community, and you see how it's a win-win for everybody. The students really benefit, and the community benefits, and it's just a great partnership. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions, board members? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I know you all found the policy manuals terribly exciting, and so thank you. First, we'll approve the minutes of the meeting of October 29th. Motion to approve. Second, any discussion? All those in favor, aye. And now on to the interesting policy manuals. It's considered to be on the consent agenda, so if there are any questions or comments or corrections. Otherwise, a motion to approve the consent agenda. Mr. Carter, seconded by Mr. Greenhill. Any questions, comments? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Committee reports. Mr. Carter, Audit and Finance.
Yeah, Audit and Finance Committee met. Basically, we reviewed the legally required annual audit, which, as usual, was found TCC to be in sterling condition. I think we had one tiny anomaly involving expenses for a grant program, which we already corrected. So at any rate, that basically requires acknowledgement by the board. So I actually need to make a motion that we accept it. It's not a matter of approving it or disapproving it. It's just a matter of acknowledging the receipt. So I'd like to make a recommendation that the Audit Committee recommends adoption of the annual financial report.
Comes from committee. Doesn't require a second. Any questions, comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
That's it. Of course, as usual, this will be posted on our website. So.
Thank you. The Institutional Planning Committee has a meeting scheduled for the 24th of this month. 50th anniversary report. Dr. Morrison, you have anything?
Well, I hope everyone read through the accolades that were posted on the website and that were part of the Chancellor's reports, because if you did, you know that all of the campuses have just done a sterling job of continuing this celebration and making it a meaningful involvement for faculty and students. And I really want to say thank you to all of the campus leaders for doing that. And it has been exactly as I had hoped for, in fact, even better. So thank you very much. I happen to wear my 50th anniversary shirt, which was designed by the CIE department when we had the breakfast with the elders, July 31st, where the Chancellor joined me in recognizing about 31 elders who were active during the year of 1965. And my ear, nose, and throat doctor graduated from Poly that year. So I had the shirt on, and he was delighted to say that he graduated that year and he remembered his parents voting. It was all of the rage. So people have been aware and have very much appreciated sharing stories about their part in our creation. What is most exciting is that our faculty and staff still buy into the dream that was started 50 years ago. And I appreciate your continuing efforts. Keep up the magic. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing us through this special year. Since we've passed or accepted the audit report, we should at least acknowledge our gentleman from...
I might have been a little bit premature there.
Okay. Mr. Fitz is with us. Mr. McClendon?
Yes.
You want to...
Oh, gosh. Could you take a look at that cover? I know Arturo Martinez, our Director of Creative Affairs, is probably not here today. I think, you know, with the little committee work, he was the author of this wonderful emblem, and just want to say hats off to Atura again. And all of our media and that whole core team that helped us launch this a year ago. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to admit I wanted to be a firefighter. But anyway, I feel that way. Okay, I'm sorry.
Actually, you may be.
I'm sorry, I had to say that. Anyways, I'd like to invite Mr. Fitz to the podium. He's with Weaver and Tidwell, and he would like to present a draft, go over the draft of the audit financial.
The one we just accepted. You better make it good, Jim.
It's not a draft anymore.
Thank you. I was at a class in Dallas today, and they said in the class that $252 million is wasted each day in bad presentations. And so I was already feeling some pressure not to add to that.
You don't want to add to that, do you?
So now that this has been received, I better make sure it's good. We are substantially complete with our audit, and we've reviewed it with the Audit and Finance Committee. And so I'm just going to go through a couple of highlights here, very high level. One thing to note on that report is on page Roman numeral 9. You'll see the district's Certificate of Achievement in Financial Reporting from GFOA. There it is. And that's the 23rd straight year. Is that right, Nancy? Yes. So congratulations to the district for achieving that. And we believe that the financial report you've got in front of you now is going to qualify for number 24. We do, if you look at the auditor's report, you do see that we plan to issue an unmodified report on the financial statements. And as far as changes this year, the biggest change by far is new accounting rules for pensions called GASB 68. They really radically changed the way the district and all governments have to account for that. They basically said now you need to put the estimate of your ultimate discounted liability on your balance sheet, which that's not been required previously. So that's a big change from 14 to 15. Implementing that resulted in a $41 million liability on the balance sheet that wasn't there before. As you know, that the district takes part in Teacher Retirement System of Texas, so all the information for the district's pension liability came from TRS. Because you're a part of that system. The statement of net position shows net position of $1,039,000,000 at August 31st, 2015. That is $15 million lower than last year, but that's a little misleading because you had to book the beginning liability for that pension since last year, and so that represents a $47 million decrease to book that beginning liability. The actual results of your operations for fiscal year 15 resulted in a $32 million increase in that position. In our testing of grant compliance, we looked at 3 federal grants and 2 state grants. As Mr. Carter noted, there was a small issue on one of the federal grants that ended up being less than 2% of the grant expenditures for that grant. It is big enough where the feds say that we have to include it in our report, but we did issue an unmodified report on compliance for all 5 programs. So that's a positive. Anybody have any questions?
No, I just wanted to know that Mr. Greenhill and I panicked when we saw the pension liability, but it actually changes nothing. It's just from this point forward, it's one of those numbers that changes every year, and this is one the money comes in, we pay it, so it's just sort of an anticipation of what our future liability will be. Like I said, and the number will switch every year. So
that's a very good point. It's strictly an accounting change, an accounting rule change, and the fundamentals of the pension and how it's funded and when it's funded did not change, so it's not a cash flow issue at all.
Any other questions or comments? As you can imagine, $41 million got Mr. Carter's attention. It was thoroughly discussed. But he's feeling good about it, so we're all feeling good about it. And thank you and your team for being with us again this year. We appreciate your work with us.
Thank you. And thanks to Mark and Nancy and Stanvik and Lindsey Brannon and the rest of the finance department. They did an excellent job allowing us to complete our procedures.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Robinson, Mr. Marshall's report.
Mr. Marshall?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have one item for request for board approval. It's the purchase of our Microsoft Campus Agreement from CDWG. This is the result of a request for quote that went out, and 6 companies bid on it, and we would like to approve the purchase with CDWG in the amount of $284,816.83.
Motion to approve. Mr. Carter, second. Mr. Heed.
And then
wanna make
I
some
did,
comments?
yep, I did get questions from Ms. Ayala on this, so I'm going to read them verbatim. That way I won't leave anything out. And the questions started with number 1. The question was, have we used the same vendor since 2005? And the answer is, originally it was SHI, and it stayed that way for a number of years. And beginning in 2012, we issued another RFQ, and that was won by Journey Ed. And this year, since it was 3 years since the last one, we issued another RFQ, and it was won by CDWG. These are all licensed vendors of Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't sell directly, so you have to go through one of their suppliers. The second question was if TCC has maintained an agreement for the Microsoft product since 2005 and we pay for annual maintenance. Have we looked at negotiating a longer term for better terms and fees since we have had an agreement for 10 years already? And I answered, this is an operations expense, and as such, I cannot predict our budget out for 10 years. The technology landscape changes so frequently that we may not want these products in 10 years. And the product mix that we are currently using has changed over the past 10 years. So also our numbers in what we order and the quantities that we order change annually, and we adjust those changes within the 3-year contract that we have. The third question is, if the Microsoft Campus Agreement allows for staff and faculty purchases of software at a reduced rate, is this for personal use? And I answered yes. This software is also available to students, and for many of the products this year, Microsoft just started providing them for free. Her fourth question was, is allowing staff and faculty to purchase at a reduced rate a new term for this agreement, or have we had this provision in place for some time? And the answer is the campus agreement has been in place for at least 10 years with reduced rates for faculty and staff the entire time. Microsoft has always offered reduced rates to students through school bookstores directly, so they don't really take the college into the account. And this year they now offer reduced rates directly through Microsoft themselves. Her next question states, I am okay with the fact that faculty and staff may purchase under the agreement. However, much software has actually been procured, however, how much software has actually been procured by faculty and staff since this provision has been in place? The reason for my question is that I am sure that allowing to purchase under a master agreement at a reduced rate is somehow baked into the rate that TCC pays for this software. I want to understand whether the benefit is substantial based on the amount of money that we are paying. At the same time, if we are purchasing loads of software, then we might consider approaching the vendor to negotiate a better rate. It's a big question. I answered, the purchase and/or licensing of the free reduced rate software is actually between Microsoft and the individual faculty, staff, and student user. We do not track, nor can we, as it is done through a Microsoft site, their purchases. These arrangements are what Microsoft generically adds to its campus agreements with all schools, colleges, and universities. Our licensing costs are based on the number of computers we have on our campuses. We get the education discount on those products, which is the least expensive way to get any of their products. The offer to our faculty, staff, and students are thrown in. The only way to opt out of that offering is to buy Microsoft products at retail, which is substantially higher than campus agreements. We are basically paying $26 per computer for Microsoft products to be installed on our district computers. Retail for Microsoft Office alone is $399. There is no reduction in cost if none of our students, faculty, or staff take advantage of the free or reduced software. This is one of the benefits of being at an institution of higher education. Microsoft has priced their products reasonably well for education compared to the other industries they sell to. Good evening. I'm reading off your questions. Question number 6 is, if our cost is based on the number of computers we have on our campuses, how are we tracking the use of the computers installed and whether the Microsoft products are being used regularly? Currently, we do not track computer application use using monitoring software, as it places a load on the network and we don't have the staff to perform that task. We do track, though, where software is installed. The Microsoft products are used every day by staff that send and receive thousands of emails. Our Outlook licensing is included in this cost. We standardized on Office products for our word processing, spreadsheets, and presentations for all district business. Also, the faculty teach Microsoft products, and they expect students to turn in files that are Microsoft products. Microsoft software is also the standard for project management and some of our server operations. And question number 7 is, you mentioned that we get an education discount and the rate we pay per computer is excellent, but is there any wiggle room in that if the number of computers changes, we could further negotiate with CDWG for possible credits or cost adjustments? We in IT specify make, model, and quantity, and we participate in initial cost discussions. This was a request for quote, so when it goes out to the different vendors, all we are asking for is a price. So they are basically giving us their best price because they know they're competing with other vendors. We use Audit software to determine where the software is installed, which determines our costs. As you can see from the quantities, not all the software is purchased for all the computers. So the software cost is based on our use in and on campus. So that's, and we do adjust those on an annual basis. So if we add new computers, we have to add those. If we take away software products, then that's adjusted. And Microsoft asks us to look at that on an annual basis. So those are the questions that I have. If you have any more.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the contract. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Marshall, would you please give your notes to Ms. Tennis for inclusion in the permanent record? Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.
Item number 10, the monthly financial report. Mr. McClendon? Oh, sorry.
I was a firefighter.
Oh. He really was. Well, good for you. You just made that up, or is it true?
That's true.
Where?
I got my training at University of Maryland. I was a firefighter, hazmat materials handler at Westinghouse Defense, and then a volunteer firefighter for Anne Arundel County, Maryland.
I'll be darned.
Picture my desk with my guns out.
We'll move on to the financials. Sorry. So we are in the second month, October, so we're looking at 212. So we will look at all expenses that are greater than 20%. So like if you look at August and September and October, you'll notice that the changes have not been that much. State appropriations look as we expected. Our maintenance and operation are as we expected due to we will get more monies in December, January and February. Our credit hour tuition is because we received our tuition for fall, so that's as we expected. The interest income is mark to market. And we thought we'd give you an extra piece of information. If you look at our total revenue is 14%. So the financial staff, I asked them, would they look at what was the same revenue this time last year? And it was actually 14.3%. The only difference being was a swing of $600K due to the Radio Shack revenue. So I thought that was very means that we're rather predictable in our revenue stream, and that's a really good thing for us. All right. So now we'll move to expenses. Okay. So we will look at expenses that are greater than 20%. And we mentioned that in the month of September, we recorded all prepaid expenses that were occurring on August 31st. We show all prepaid expenses that benefit more than one period. We show all encumbrances. We really don't have anything new to mention other than what we have. The only thing is really exceptional is the warehouse, where you will see a 69.1%, and that was in the contingency. We mentioned that before. So again, I thought I would give you the same percentage of expenses as we had last year at this time, and right now we're sitting on 23.5. I don't want to brag, but last time it was 20.3. So this is a really predictable business, and we're really monitoring a lot of information. So now we'd like to move y'all to the expenses. All right. So if we look at the expenses, we have a beginning balance of 102 mil. In our pools, we have relatively very few movement. We do have transfers in and out, and we have an ending balance of 102. Now, if we look at our short term, last month we had a balance of 0. We purchased one Texas term for $5 million, so we have ending balance of $5 million. If we look at our securities, we had a beginning balance of $100 million, and then we had one item that was called. I want to just result that, because I'm going to be able to talk to something that you'll really find interest in, and that was due to a question that Mr. Heed made. So we will be happy to address your question in vivo. But if you look at that, there was a recall of $10 million, so it's giving you an ending balance of $90 million. All right. So that $90 million. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so now if we look at our total portfolio, we started off with 200, and now we're sitting on 197, okay, on our ending balance. If we look at our performance, our our yield is about 0.61 versus a one-year T-bill of 0.27, so we have a spread of 0.34. So here was the question that I thought what Mr. Heed asked, which was very interesting, was what's our WAM? So I looked at what we had our WAM for the previous month. And that was a question. If we looked at the previous month, we had a WAM, which is what you do is you take all the securities and you multiply it to the time, and then you're able to see how long it takes. The previous month, it was at 393 days. So the question that Mr. Heed said, will you be moving more to the center? So right now, when that $10 million got called, come down a little bit. No, the other way. I'm sorry. You will see that now you would have more money in your pools. So as you have more money in your pools, you will have a WAM. Now you can come down. You will have a shorter WAM of 366. So again, this is what our board asked us through the investment to do, and I'm sorry that we missed it by one day. It should have been 365. We're sitting on 366. So your question was really appropriate, and now at the next month when we had it called. So that's what you've asked us to be at 365, so that's what we'll do. Any further questions?
Any questions of Mr. McClendon?
No, the audit committee, we took great care to learn 10 acronyms in finance that would terrify Mark. We don't know what any of them mean, but he seems to respect it when we asked it anyway. So.
Wow.
It started with wham, by the way.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was different interpretations of what wham meant, and that's.
We'll stick with the one on the board.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, sir.
Looking at the income figures, it looks like, just looking at the the income we get from the state.
State appropriations.
That seems to be varying. I've been calculating that the last 3 months. It's now at 17% of as a percentage of our total income. Does that
that's a good
change, or it's 15 and then 16, now it's 17?
State appropriations will vary every year, and that's something that when you go to Austin, you should bring this point up. And it's a valid point that we have been bringing up, that every time what we're getting from the state becomes a lesser part of what we're getting. That's going to depend on your tuition and on your property taxes. So what the state of Texas has done via the coordinating board, it has asked its representatives to have a bigger impact on the funding of community colleges because more and more money is done locally and less money is done to the state. So that may be a good point for our trustees to raise if y'all think pertinent. But that is correct. At one time, it was 40%, Mr. Heed, and now you can see how it's come down. And that's because the state appropriations get smaller every time.
I think it was as much as 70 at one point.
Well,
Yeah.
I was not a firefighter at that time. No, so I don't know. But you can see exactly, that's the philosophy down, that is changing that number continuously. You are correct.
Shouldn't that number every month be the same percentage?
The percentage, what we have there, do you want to bring that up? The percentage
It was
is
56.
what we're talking about is when do we get our money? The budget is exact. What happens is that a lot of the money, the way that the pay cycle is of the government, you will get more money in January, in December, January, and February. No, you just want to go to your
No, just
revenue.
the income, yeah.
Sorry.
But I was using the budgeted item of 56,290,000.
Thank you. The other one.
Income.
That's investment. Yes, ma'am. That's investment. There we go.
There you
Okay, okay.
Yeah, 56,290 over the total income is,
That's exactly what I'm saying, is it's going to, what you have there is you have your total budget number. Remember, it's a budget. And the reason why you don't know that for sure is because you have claims and we have collection and something. Typically, the budget is very close. The state appropriations are very close. What you're showing, the year-to-date income there, is how we're actually physically getting
understand.
paid.
no, I was talking about the budget. It's the budget item itself.
It will vary based on, do you see the number that says maintenance tax and operation number? That's the one that is always changing every year, is your collection on your property. So what happens is that number grows, it will make your state appropriation smaller. Because which means that you're being funded more locally than by the state. That's the wisdom of our state.
As our local taxes go up, then the state appropriations go down?
Well, they do a budget. The state appropriations will take, and what they will do is they will do a total budget for all 55 community colleges. And then they fund it based on contact hours. And then you're going to also, so the number of contact hours is a direct, it's a proportion based on your enrollment. So educational systems who have higher number of enrollments will typically have higher number of contact hours. And the mix of the contact hours has a lot to do, like maybe there's a very big difference between somebody who takes English and somebody who's taken pilot training. Pilot training is probably the highest one being paid. It's like $39 or something like that. So in that mixture, that's how you create your appropriations to the state. So the state will say, I will pay you that. And then remember, as you probably remember when we went over this in the budget, you have a 10% that you earn back based on your momentum points. And then the state also, what it tried to do is to balance between large and small community colleges. It gave you $500,000. Too much information maybe, or is that good? That's the way, so that's the process that they go. But what is happening is what you're noticing is exactly what a lot of the community colleges who have a bigger economic challenge are saying that the state is providing less and less money, and so they're looking for alternate ways to be able to make up that deficit shortfall. Is that right?
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. McClendon. Chancellor's report.
We have a new category now under accolades. We still have our accolades in your materials, but we have a category called data for you. Shelley, if you want to go to the first data for Northeast Campus. You see there in spring of 2015, our supplemental instruction, the student visits, this is duplicated, so that's why you'll see a difference, the 13, and if you see down below under spring 2015, attended at least one SI session, so some of the students might have gone 10, 15 times. But you can see the difference in the success rate, which is defined there as a grade of A, B, or C. For students who went at least one SI session, they had a success rate of 69.9%, versus those who never attended an SI session only had a success rate of 50.6%. And you see similar data for the summer session, with those students who attended at least one SI session having a success rate of 85.8%, those who never attended having a success rate of 63.9%.
Why is there a difference, so much of a difference between summer and spring, do you think?
I don't know the answer to that question. Do you, Dr. Gobin?
I can give you a good estimate of that. I suspect that that is because we're getting better at it. We, if you look at the implementation in spring, that was earlier in the implementation. We had just hired a lot of people. We had just trained them. And in the summer session, two things happened. We had more time under our belt. We were a little more adept at it. Plus, we had a smaller population of students on campus in general. So perhaps a little more intensive time working with them, and that's probably the result that you see in the data.
So with the students that attended at least one session, your increase was almost 16%. So in the fall, it should be at 100%. Is that?
We will look for some great numbers with fall. We're excited to see what happens with fall,
That
with
would
the
be
larger
great.
numbers, and we'll see what it looks like.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So are we incentivizing? I think I've asked this before, and it didn't get a lot of favor. Do we incentivize the visits to the SSI Center? Other than, I mean, we should tell them that if, every student should know that if they go at least one time, they up their chances of success by 20%. That's major. That is huge. They may not realize that one visit would be that significant of an investment. But beyond knowing that, being told point blank out front, you can up your chances for success by 20% by a, what, 3-hour investment, 2-hour investment? That's one thing I would like to encourage. The second thing is I want you to think about incentivizing the visits. I know you can get creative and say every time you come, you get to enter in a drawing for $50 gift card at the bookstore, da, 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 da. You all can get creative. Money talks.
I had a quick question for this too, by the way, which is that, and you may can refer to it, is that we see these kinds of things and we think, what? If we could just get them in SI, they'll do better. But the reality is that the reason so many, the ones that are doing better in SI is because they have better motivation to start with. So my question for you is SI attending a correlation, or does it actually cause them to be better? So.
Again, I think it's in our implementation of supplemental instruction, I think it's a bit too early to make that kind of a judgment. I think we need a little bit more time to look at it.
I totally agree.
But I think it's a good
yeah.
point to look
we
at the
confuse
cause
this
effect.
all the time. Things that cause behaviors are not the same as correlations to that. And if you could get to the roots of what motivates students to do this, that's really what makes the difference. Not so much that they go to that particular class. It just shows that they are motivated already. I think if you made it mandatory, 100% of these students went, you would not see this number that well. They might do a little better, but not this much better.
Yeah. Another question. You talk about attending at least one session. It would be very interesting. I've seen the data. I know you have it. Of those, the percentage improvement of those students that attend 1, 2, 3, 4, et cetera, sessions. Do you think maybe the summer session was because they attended more of those sessions, or because that data would be very, very, very helpful for the college?
I'm not aware of that level of granular data, but we can look into it and see if we can find anything of use to us or to the board to be able to work with the students.
Tim was raising his hand, by the way. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Come up to the microphone.
In San Diego, they had
It's our stats guy.
I love these discussions because you're talking in my wheelhouse now from statistics. This is great information, but like you said, we don't know, we can't tell. The best thing to do would be to talk about semesters where we had no supplemental instruction, because they still have the same ambitious students in them, but they didn't have an SI. So this is great because you're comparing just the numbers within the semester that you had SI. We can bring you that information compared to the semesters where we didn't have SI, and that would give you the better look at the success rates.
Yeah, what I'm guessing is that if you actually go to the SI, that you will do better.
Yes.
The trick is that the only ones who show up are motivated in the first place.
Yes.
So,
Well, we can show you that motivation difference, and then we can also break down into the number of sessions. We do track our sessions.
That would be good.
Thank you. But then we extend the time for the discussion.
Yes.
That's what's important.
We thank you for the many suggestions. We will take those to heart and follow up on them.
Thank you.
All right, our next statistic, Trinity River Campus. You will recall that we started a certified nursing assistant program, 2014-2015. We served 50 students, 100% pass rate.
Ah, geez. Yeah.
Then our last data point is dual credit program. We now have 4,219 students enrolled in the fall of 2015. And that ends my data point
That's
presentation.
great. Thank you for adding that.
by the way, I had my annual little heart checkup yesterday, and the woman who did the pre-work before the doctor came in, I said, "Are you a nurse?" She said, "No, I'm a nursing assistant." I said, "So where'd you go to school?" Guess where?
Right here. One of the 50. So I only have two recent activities that I wanted to highlight. Shelley has a picture of one. That is the Toro Dash. There we go. We had our first ever board member participate. She did the 1 mile and the 5K.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, Terry. Thank you. It's fun.
Then I have another recent activity that's actually not on the list. It came up suddenly. On Monday, November 9th, we knew we were going to have the TIF board meeting for the TIF number 2 in the North Richland Hills area, and we thought that was going to be the end of it, but North Richland Hills City Council met right afterwards. So after TIF number 2 approved our amendment to extend our boundaries onto Northeast Campus and change the description of the facility that was going to go up from a community center to a center of excellence for performing visual and technical arts, then the City Council also voted to approve it. So the amendment has been done, it's finalized.
Yeah, that's great.
Do you have any new staff?
No new staff.
No, okay. Ms. Ayala, do you want to say anything more about the Toro Dash? Thank you for being there and participating.
Here, where it says, just sign it.
How many
Where it says on and off?
ended up participating? You know,
We had 600 at the Toro Dash, and I came in second in my age group.
show off.
Who is number one?
I don't know.
Away with him.
It was a lot of fun. It was well attended. I want to congratulate also, I think it was the Southeast campus had the most representatives on a team. We had, yay, yes. I was really impressed with the fact that there was just various age groups there. There were people of all ages, and everyone had a great time. Despite the weather, we were out there. We had a wonderful time. It was a lot of fun, and I encourage all of the trustees to sign up and participate next year.
We might have to do a special half mile.
So, Mr. Carter, how good was your health report?
But I want to congratulate everyone that participated, and it was just very well organized. I had a great time, and my father also participated as well, and he enjoyed it, and he's already challenged my mother to go out there and join us next year. So we hope to have more people from our family joining. Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
And you and Ms. Vandergriff and Mr. Heed attended the Foundation Scholarship Dinner, and Mr. Heed's going to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to attend one of those dinners, you ought to do it because it it really makes you feel good inside. Because the most significant part of it, I think, is the students getting up and telling about their success and how important those scholarships are to them. It gave them the opportunity to do incredible things and to achieve some of their life's goals. I had a chance to sit with our Rotary Culinary Arts student scholar. She is a 4.0 student. And I asked her what her goals are. She says, well, I want to start my own catering business in 3 to 5 years. And I said, well, how now you've learned a little bit about the culinary arts. How are you going to learn about running a business? And she says, well, I am going to Texas Wesleyan and taking business. She's going to Texas Wesleyan on our agreement for nothing and will get her BS degree, and she is on her way to her lifelong dream. It's just incredible. The foundation gives $10.5 million in scholarships every year, which is wonderful.
And I sat in on the debriefing portion of the Achieving the Dream coaches visit. And again, to all of you who participated in that and throughout the year, and to your colleagues, thank you. We got another A-plus report card, some new acronyms, WIG, XD, 4DX. Do you know what WIGs are? What are WIGs? Oh, you're so good. And 4DX. Aren't they great? Notice who didn't answer up here. Dr. Black, do you want to help me with any comments? I think the coaches in general are very impressed with us, and I love sitting there and taking all the credit on your behalf.
Well, and it's always a pleasure to have you there. You're right. The coaches gave us another glowing report. They were really pleased that we were looking at how we could adopt 4DX here at TCC. They clearly understand that there's not always one model that fits every way to do it, but they're really impressed at Tarrant by the amount of faculty participation. Because the other institutions that have implemented 4DX just didn't have that. And so that's not surprising to us.
That was my favorite part, hearing them say that there was increased participation engagement from the faculty across the district. And I think that's very meaningful and important for us to hear. So thank you again. We're going to go into closed session, and so we will adjourn for that. And then I will let you know now, our next meeting will be at noon, or possibly we will meet the hour before. And then at noon on December 17th, you know that we're having a holiday celebration honoring our 50th anniversary and celebrating Irma Johnson Hadley. So hopefully you all will have gotten your fancy invitation and you can make it work to make your reservation. I couldn't, but Mr. Gates bailed me out, as always. So we are now going into closed session for deliberation of real property, Section 551.072 Texas Government Code. Deliberation of personnel matters, Section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code, and consultation with attorneys, Section 551.071 Texas Government Code. And we will return as soon as we can, if you would like to stay. Otherwise, thank you for coming.
greater panel. They're looking, if it's a district court, they're looking at 12 people. They're usually about 40 on the panel. And what it means is that they'll bring you in on the day, they'll tell you what day to show up, and that's the day they're actually picking the jurors. So it's not come today and then come back again tomorrow and come back the next day. And that jury selection process usually takes 2 or 3 hours. They'll bring in, sit you in the audience in order, and the lawyers will get up and ask a bunch of questions.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. And then as you distance learn, you know,
Oh, yeah. Well, they're looking, and they're looking for attitudes, they're looking for information, depends on what kind of a case it is. No, the last time I was on jury duty was actually the first day of class a year ago. And so I had to have somebody else meet my class, and I knew I wasn't getting picked. As soon as I saw the lawyers on the case, I knew for sure I wasn't getting picked. Because when the defense lawyer got up, he said, does anyone, oh, except Karen, no one. In addition, I was number 30 or 31. And my own, higher the number, the less chance that you end up on the jury. My rule thing was, why the heck, if you know you're not picking, do I have to sit here through an hour and a half of board hours, and then an hour while y'all do your paperwork and whatever, to come back to know that I'm being excused? Like, as soon as I checked in and saw who the lawyers were, I said, oh, I know that guy. He takes an intern almost every semester. He's one of Pat's best friends. I mean, it's, the world of lawyers is, I was surprised I was actually in a court with a judge I didn't know, because I haven't practiced it long enough that there's been enough turnover. But I did know other lawyers, so. No
and I'm right across the street from my job.
Right.
But I actually think it'd be a good thing to see in the whole process.
So which court are you in?
The Tim Curry across the street.
Oh, it's criminal court.
Is it? Okay.
If you're in the Tim Curry Justice Center, criminal court, as opposed to, if you're in the Family Law Center, which is a family district court, or in the new civil courts building, which is a civil court. Exactly.
I love it, online, but whenever I see an email in there that says, if you don't respond or show up, you don't sign a warrant for your arrest, I get it.
You get
But I love this because the real response time was 8 a.m., but now the email they tell me come at 12 and I say,
exactly. Oh, yeah, that's pretty normal. Yeah, because
And a
this
lot of
was
them,
your
as it gets
original
burned,
call, because you went online and did your processing, they've assigned you to a criminal district court, so that's a district court, that's a felony court.
it's a
Not,
federal, it's not federal.
no, it's state, it's a state felony court. So these are all your most serious crimes. This could have been a county court, which would be a misdemeanor. Those are less serious crimes.
Is there a possibility if I serve?
Yes. It does not happen very often.
And they still come out as assistants.
I told
So you're in Judge Catalano's court.
I told him, I said, I have already configured all your assignments. You can be released independent of whether or not you're finding exactly clear. So the assignments are still due on time.
Yep.
I know that they're looking at such an eclectic list of things, TV shows. They told me to be honest. WWE wrestling, Arrow.
Still, I was about to say, what you get out making based on the debt that you, that's just, you still almost where you were. Yeah. So it's like.
I'm just looking to see what all they're
You
asking
don't get out
about.
as an assistant making that kind of money, assistant to a nurse.
Witness. Pleasant experience. Police.
It's about family members.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Given the deposition, I know they want to ask for a witness.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh.
That way they know they've got complete
Oh, sure.
information.
No. We have that argument with the folks on the floor. Because they could
Now,
easily
these
say
are
we're
the
flat.
kinds of
So they
questions
probably still increase
that
the
they
number.
ask to
Well,
try to,
that's the student.
especially in criminal cases where primary witnesses are likely to be police officers, they're trying to make sure that you don't have a bias or prejudice against police officers.
I love that they, it's so funny. I'm still laughing about marking our on-off switch. Okay, we'll reconvene this meeting November 12th, 9:05 p.m. We have a motion by Mr. Heed.
Oh, this is not the motion.
He doesn't have the right one. Should we read, you want to read the press release with that?
I'll get him to.
Okay, okay.
You cold? I move that the Director of Purchasing, in collaboration with General Counsel, develop a request for proposal for a Chancellor search firm.
Discussion, questions, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned.